Hi everyone and welcome back to Brett Lee TV. I thought today might be a good chance to talk about the common cricket ball, the way it's evolved, the different colours, and I guess my understanding of how I've had to adapt in playing in different conditions. First and foremost, you look at the three basic colour of the balls. The red ball, you got the pink, which has been introduced recently, and of course the white that's been around since the 80s or so. First ball that I want to pick up is the one that I'm more comfortable and used it more in my career, is the Kookaburra ball. Now, the thing about the Kookaburra ball, I think over recent times it's actually deteriorated in terms of the condition of the ball. Whether they went from hand stitching more to a commercial grade where they're not using as much hand stitching as they used to, but the traditional cricket ball made by Kookaburra has got what they call generally like a lacquer over it. So you know that the ball should stay in pretty good condition throughout most of the first session. Towards the end of the day, the Kookaburra ball would generally get a little bit softer. Reverse swing can happen with the Kookaburra ball. I used to enjoy bowling with it and I was probably, as I mentioned, more familiar with it. Now we go over to the Duke ball, which is used over in the UK, and you can see straight away there are different colours of the balls, which are different environments and different, I guess, tans that they use. Now these are dyed, these cricket balls are dyed red, but the Duke ball, the first thing I notice is the amount of lacquer on the ball. It's like coated in this lacquer. And the one thing that you always talk about and hear about with the Duke ball is that this ball swings around corners. It shakes because the lacquer, if you can maintain the perfect ball condition, this one here in England will suit the conditions and swing around. Not as a prominent sort of pronounced seam, or not this one anyway, compared to the Kookaburra ball. I find the Kookaburra normally, the seam in the middle is a little bit higher as opposed to the Duke, but I have seen Duke balls with a quite prominent seam. Now we go over to India and we see the SG. This one here has also got a film coated lacquer over the top, but I find this ball over here tends to take a lot more scratches a lot more easily. So you might bowl 2 overs, and I guess the conditions aren't really conducive to fast bowling over here in India, but I find this ball scuffs up a lot quicker. However, that can help you if you want to bowl reverse swing. Good ball to bowl with, keeps its shape pretty well, a nice little raised seam there, so if there is anything in the wicket over here when you're playing up north, maybe up at Mohali or playing down here in Mumbai, you can get a bit of movement off the seam. The one ball I probably enjoyed bowling with the most was the white ball, and for me this is probably the format where I dominated most. Decent in Test cricket, but for me I felt a lot more comfortable in the one-day arena. I don't know the reason why, but when I try to educate people and young boys and girls about bowling, I find for some reason the white ball would swing more. Well, for me anyway, I found I could hoop the white ball a lot more. And maybe when you break it all down, you think about the way the white ball's made and put together. It's actually painted white as opposed to dyed red, as you see here with the red cricket ball. So same shape, same weight, same ball, but this one's dyed, this one's painted. And you'd often find that this one here, generally in Australian conditions, would go a lot darker quickly, go green. To think in the late 90s and early 2000s when I was playing for Australia, we bowled with one ball, the whole 50 overs. So for me, you get to about the 40 over mark and the ball will be scuffed up, quite hard to see, quite green. That's when the fast bowler comes into his element, and that's when you can really take some wickets. Then they introduced the mandatory 34 over ball change, which I think probably hurt cricket, because that's the time when the ball's about to get reverse swing happening. They get a ball maybe 20 overs old, and then it pretty much brings the batsman back into the game. Then also they introduced one ball from each end, which means that only 25 overs old that ball could get from either end. Really took reverse swing out of play. Once again, very similar with the different conditions and the different subcontinent ball and English ball. Then we throw in the pink ball, or the rosé. We've got the white, we've got the red, why not have a rosé? This ball here, I never got the chance to play a competitive game with the pink ball, but what I've seen on television commentating, and certainly what I've witnessed, is that this ball hoops around corners, and probably too that the conditions of when the pink ball is used, twilight, good time to bowl as the sun goes down. The ball once again has got a nice film on it, a nice lacquer and a decent seam position. The only thing that I would say is that it does get a bit scuffed up a bit quicker than the traditional red ball, but I think it's been a good find. Test cricket with a red ball, people can see it. It's a lot of fun. At the end of the day, it's all about the viewer and hopefully putting on a good spectacle. So that's my take, I guess, on the cricket ball. So there we have it. We've got the traditional red, white, and now the new pink ball, which has been introduced the last couple of years. I think it's been fantastic. The viewers love it. They love watching it. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. Hopefully you learned something. Let us know. Keep watching Brett Lee TV, and there's many more fun and exciting things coming up shortly.